So your argument is essentially that this game plan is ubiquitous, and that this game plan is done in the United States too, to promote drug use and drug selling, which they profit off of.
I'm not even going that far. What I'm saying is there's a useful role around of music and other artistic and cultural ventures for creating a market for something that helps U.S. statecraft. For example, this was the major scandal. The head of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Deutsch, had to travel to Compton in 1997, I believe that was the year, in order to plead with the black population there that what had happened with the CIA's role in the drug trade was a sort of occasional one-off accident, wasn't authorized, wasn't supposed to happen. But the fact is those narco networks supported the Nicaraguan Contra movement. You needed a market to sell it. And those were inner city, urban populations in Los Angeles that were, they weren't the ones growing the cocaine. That was grown in Peru and Bolivia, and then it was processed in Colombia, and then it was,
That's all that stuff that Michael Rupert exposed.
Yeah, there's been a million, and it's everywhere you look, and it's not just South and again, I don't want to, this stuff is all, to me, just interesting. I don't have a hard opinion on it. I almost don't want to take away from so much of the important factual stuff where I have the receipts on screen. But what I'm saying is you are going to see resistance from very strange pockets as you do this disentangling process. How many people knew that an arm of the State Department right next door to it that gets all of its money from the State Department, who sets the foreign policy, is telling the Taliban to keep the drug networks open? Or that same arm is going after Bukele when he tries to arrest the drug criminals in El Salvador, which, by the way, was the most intense of these narco right-wing death squads during the Cold War. And we pump up every cultural vector we can. Again, watch Taking Down a Dictator, that documentary, and look at the role of music in the State Department's eyes in being able to galvanize street protest movements, gets everyone on the street united, gets everyone listening to the same thing. They're all sort of, aligned like a magnet. Even look at places like the Azov Battalion and how they sort of grew out of this black metal rap, black metal music, coalition, with highly extremist lyrics and whatnot in Ukraine. The same sort of extremist lyrics you saw in the Bangladeshi rap songs or the call to take to the streets in the Cuban ones. And again, this has been going on a long time. Look at the lyrics of a Pussy Riot song, and remember this: they literally are standing at the Secretary of State's podium, with arm in arm with the U.S. State Department, while and everyone can look up rock, CIA's role in rock and whatnot. There's great Guardian articles about all this as well, but. It's more to say, coming back to this USA Truman Show, that everything and anything can be an instrument of statecraft, whether that's the prosecutors, the universities, the unions, the media, the social media, arts, dance. This is where you get these transgender dance festivals and this demographic segmentation, to see who hates the government. Well, if the government is cracking down on transgenderism or is not kind to it, or they feel like they want more rights, that's a useful demographic as a cleavage point for the U.S. State Department to capacity build, flow money to, so that they can be used as a battering ram. And I'm not endorsing that, but that is just why we work.